Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Hello, everybody. Dr. Homebrew, we're back for another session. It's not really a session because it's Dr. Homebrew. It's not the session. We're not back for this session. We're back for a session. A session of drinking. Session of drinking in front of other people who are drinking as well, which is basically the rest of the audience out in bar land. Which I was talking to the guys beforehand. I'm like, it kind of feels like we're in a VIP section of a club where there's like the rope off. And, everyone's like looking at the super popular kids or the rich people like, oh, they can afford bottle service. And we're like, having to walk to I don't know. No one else felt like that?
What?
Yeah.
No, are we the cool kids?
There's no rope off.
That's what I'm saying. Because we're like behind the thing.
Idea where you were going with that.
That was a real extended diatribe there.
Well,
Bevo's pretending like she's never been to the club.
Well, I was waiting for other people to jump in and start saying, "Oh yeah, I get it," or "No," or whatever. But apparently,
I'm just not used to being one of the cool kids, so I was assuming I wasn't in that group.
Well, why would you?
Right. To all of it.
Right.
I'm normally the one in line complaining about all the hot girls walking by. They're like, you can't come in. Like, really?
Yeah. There's not enough room. Well, she's skinnier, so she can fit.
Either 2 hot chicks or you in the club. What are they going to pick?
There's probably closer to 3 hot chicks than me if you're talking about mass.
Yeah.
So.
Or at least if you're lying down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Wait,
what?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Anyway, welcome to Homebrew. Dr. Homebrew, it's another fine session of drinking beer, drinking homebrew, and evaluating our fellow homebrewers. Brought to you by the fine people at 5 Star Chemicals. You go to 5starchemicals.com. You've heard us talk about 5 Star on the show. They are as fantastic as we say they are. If you have not had 5 Star Chemicals in your brew house at all, you really aren't doing such a very good job cleaning and sanitizing, to be honest. So get it going. What's going on? Where's Beverly behind me? What are you doing? You don't have a charger. All right. Let me charge you up, girl. Charge your batteries.
Please stop talking.
Like a Prius. Yeah. I'll get all hybrid. Whatever. PBW, Star San, IO Star, Sandy Clean, all that kind of stuff. They also have some cool homebrewing cleaning, not equipment, but I guess equipment like gloves and boots and stuff like that. So if you really want to get all decked out like your favorite professional homebrewers, of which there are not that many, 5starchemicals.com. Check them out, please. And who else do we have? We should have Nico from Nico Brew coming in here shortly too. He's on a whirlwind tour of the lower Pacific Northwest, if you can call it. And
the lower north?
Yeah, the lower north.
All right. Yeah.
The lower half of the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I got that right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the northern south of California.
The southern north.
Yeah.
No, we're in the southern north.
Your mom is the southern north.
Well, she might be, but...
See? I think she's in the southern
She's
north.
south of here, though, so what's that make us?
North.
Right.
Of her.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
But
now it all makes sense.
See?
Yeah,
we're north,
I get it
south,
now.
north.
Right.
It's the under north.
It's like the 8th time Warren has confused me on the air.
Only the 8th?
Only the 8th, yeah.
I'm doing pretty good then.
You're doing pretty good. We have Warren here, a beardy, as everybody knows him by. We also have Brian and Lee, my trusty cohorts.
Hi.
We have Terrence here. We have Dan. Clearly somebody of some sort of note and prominence is coming into town, which would be Nico, because these people don't come out here normally.
Yeah.
Every time we try to get Terrence together, it's, I'm really busy. I got a bunch of stuff to do.
Yeah, but Nico's here.
Nico's here.
Right.
It's important.
Yeah. Well.
He ran out of reasons to leave us alone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Hopefully, when he shows up, we'll get Nico in here. We have a couple cool things to do today. We have Warren in here because if you may remember on the last show, Warren brought a Hellas in that was just terrible.
Yep.
It was just awful and gross.
And you couldn't get enough of it.
I couldn't get enough of it. And so we had, We had fun with Warren, and at Warren's expense.
Yep.
But Warren has done a trick that we're going to talk about. This one weird trick that brewers don't want you to know about. Click on the link for more information. He helped out the beer. I think he made it better. He would say otherwise. So we're going to talk about how what he did and how you guys at home can maybe help get rid of some of these other flaws that Warren had in his previous beer. We're going to taste his beer currently and kind of rap with him about that. Then we have Scotty on with a robust porter. Scotty's been on a couple times, and he has another beer, and he decided to come down and hang out for the show. And those two things are pretty good qualifiers for being on Dr. Homebrew. It's not hard. It's not hard to do. Email me, jp@thebrewingnetwork.com. I think I'm catching up on the list, and so you too could be a part of this whole shebang.
Be a warm body and brew some beer.
Yeah,
and
man.
Be willing to use Skype.
That's it. That's all you
Those are
got
the
to do.
requirements.
It's not hard. It's not hard to do, man. I should mention one of our new sponsors, High Gravity, our homebrew supply shop. They are giving away a gift, a prize pack. So, we do the Grog Tag, at least your beer will look good, $40 gift certificate to grogtag.com. But and then we give that away to the brewer with the lowest score. But the High Gravity, they're going for the highest. So the other person. So everyone wins. It's going to be nice.
Wow.
So thanks to the folks at High Gravity. You can go check them out and get yourself some cool homebrew supplies and support a sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, man. Everyone loves Dr. Homebrew. Everybody loves Raymond.
Who is Dr. Homebrew?
Dr. Homebrew is not an entity. It is a
Is it like Captain
confluence
Planet?
of no, because
Like,
Captain
with
Planet
all
was a
of you
guy.
combined?
He's a
It's
real
like
person.
Voltron.
It's like the Super Friends.
no, because they
That's
are still
plural.
people.
That's
yeah.
plural.
Right. It's not Dr. Homebrews or Doctor's Homebrew.
Doctor's Homebrew.
Shut up, Warren.
Right. See what I mean? Now this is the 9th time.
Are you confused already?
Warren is very he's extra literal. If he had a stupid superhuman power,
No.
it would be like the process of analyzation.
He was right. That was stupid.
What was stupid?
Who was right? Who was right and who was stupid?
Shut
If
up,
he's
Warren.
extra literal, does that mean he's still literal? He's outside of being literal?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's so far literal, he's below it.
I'm so literal.
Yeah.
Extra literal.
He's
Literally.
on the other side.
Yep.
Anyway,
Extraterrestrial.
Dan brought us some It's,
Wonderful.
some pumpkin It's.
Ooh, I left
man.
mine out there. Can you hand me mine, Terrence?
It's gone already.
Through the window. Just
We live
slide it through the slot.
we live close enough to the It's It outlet to get hand delivered It's with on dry ice. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
Dr.
Yeah.
Homebrew, yeah, there you go.
Special ones that you don't.
Yeah.
We
get
just
in-
can't eat them yet because they were on dry ice. Like permanently
Yeah.
stick our tongue to an It's It.
Oh, man.
So would the pumpkin It's It go in the spiced category? The herbal and spice category?
Category 21 It's It, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The cappuccino is definitely a specialty, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you learn a whole bunch of new stuff on Dr. Homebrew. A whole lot of different things.
And only some of it you wish you'd never heard.
Yeah, right. I feel like we were just in here yesterday. You know what I mean, guys?
Was it just
I
yesterday?
guess not. It may have been. I have no, who knows? Who knows with how we
It was
record
like
this?
It-
holiday
Maybe you were.
calendar flipping over.
we were here
Yeah,
Monday.
we were here Monday. Okay, we're going to head into our first break. And we come back, we're going to hear maybe some more from Warren. I don't know. He might just mutter in the microphone for 10 minutes. We're going to talk about what he did to his Hellas to make it semi-drinkable. And I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, Dr. Homebrew, back after this.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
Oh, no, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink is run.
Well, if it's the pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
It's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. grogtag.com. Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like AHA member deals that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and eZymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love, and access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your homebrewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association.
Starting a brewery is not for the faint of heart. It's definitely a labor of love. If you're not going to give it 100%, don't bother.
Brewers Publications is proud to present the Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery by Elysian Brewing's Dick Cantwell. Business plans, financing, sustainability, and more. This book takes you through the planning and execution needed to turn the dream of craft brewing into a reality. Whether you want to open a brew pub or a packaging brewery, learn the professional side of ingredients, wastewater, quality, and how to build the craft brewery of the future. The Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery, available now from Brewers Publications and brewerspublications.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry, and to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
High Gravity Homebrewing Supplies wants you to keep it simple. Brewing should be fun. And with High Gravity's amazing electric brewing systems, it is. High Gravity keeps their brewing systems simple on purpose. More efficient than gas, customizable, and with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 vessels, High Gravity's electric brewing systems will completely change the way you brew beer, formulate recipes, and improve your beer's consistency. Dave at High Gravity can customize your system to fit your needs. High Gravity invites you to visit their Build Your Own Brewery page and see how easy it can be to brew electric. And High Gravity offers $7.99 flat rate shipping on most of their products. www.highdgravitybrew.com. High Gravity. Keep it electric. Keep it simple. Visit highdgravitybrew.com. Now, back to the examination.
All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. We have Warren Bolts in the studio today.
Hi, everybody.
It's the Warren Show.
Hey, Warren.
Warren Show.
Back from Warren.
Oh, so disappointing already.
Yeah.
That was the new little intro thing there, wasn't it?
What's that?
I like the little intro blurb there. With the glove sound, was that you?
No, that wasn't me. No.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It may have been. Who knows?
You don't remember?
I've been to the doctor enough times. We'll see.
Okay.
So, Warren.
Yes.
Tell us about your beer, your health, and all the atrocious atrocities that we heaped upon you the last time you were here.
Last time?
Relive the dream.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote it down in my diary, so I have it right here.
Okay.
All of the notes.
On your blog, you mean to pull up your Tumblr account?
What have we bruised your ego?
I don't have a blog.
Comment-wise.
I have a live journal, though. Does that count?
I think it's a Tumblr.
Oh.
Yeah.
Play some music. Dear Diary.
So, last time...
Yeah, Warren's pretty hurt about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
Last time, I called it a Hellas. And you guys said it was pretty much a glass of DMS with a side of diacetyl. But you said it looked real nice. It had a nice gold color. It was clear.
Do me a favor. Remind me again what the differences are, because I'm kind of stupid, between DMS and diacetyl. If Nicole Ernie was here, she'd scream at you. It's diacetyl!
Well, and I would say diacetyl.
She's not a chemist.
No, I know. But what are the differences? DMS and I get them confused all the time.
They're different chemicals. They smell and taste different.
Great. It's going to be one of those
Diacetyl
shows.
is a classic popcorn butter kind of flavor.
Okay.
DMS sometimes comes across as cooked corn, sometimes almost like boiled shrimp.
DMS.
DMS.
Okay. All right.
And diacetyl is usually a fermentation product, and DMS is usually not. It can be a fermentation, bacterial. Usually in a beer like a Hellas or something, it would probably come from the Pils malt not being boiled enough to drive off all the precursor that gets made into DMS.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's a classic story.
Okay, so what are they?
There are others. What are they? The things you don't want in your beer.
kidding. Yeah.
They're things you don't want in your beer.
Right. So, Warren, why did you put them in your beer if you don't want them in your beer?
Okay, wait, I've got the music queued up here. We're going to do
Oh.
it. This is your diary music here.
Let me tell you. So on brew day, as my beer was about to cool, I decided to put the lid on it before it was actually below 140.
Thanks for the music, Brian. You did great.
Yeah. So anyway,
okay,
that's pretty much how the DMS got in there. I did a 90-minute boil.
Ever since that day.
Right. And so I did a 90-minute boil, so it should have been gone, but I put the lid on it like an idiot. And trapped a bunch in it.
Do you normally leave it off? I don't know if we've talked about it on this show or maybe another show, but I mean, I've always done that. Where like you put the lid on, you put your wort chiller in, and you let it go for like 15 minutes. Then you put the lid on, you kill the heat, and you're cooling. Right?
Right. See, I didn't leave it open for the first 15, which would allow it to get from the 210, 212 down to about 140, where the DMS conversion kind of slows significantly.
Okay.
And so I had just put it on. Normally what I do is kind of just leave it half on so the lid's sitting there, and then once it's cooling for a while, then I'll just slide it all the way on. But I was doing some other thing like putting the grain in the garbage can or something, and so I just wasn't paying attention and just it was on. And
I don't really like this theory. See, the boil is where you're driving off all the DMS precursors, and when you're starting to chill, it's at a temperature where they'll the precursor will convert into the DMS inside the beer, but you're not really driving off much at that point because you're done boiling and it's cooling down to temperatures where it's not. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some steam coming off and hitting the lid and come back down. But I always keep my lid on. I'm like super paranoid about wild yeast in the air and anything getting into there because I want to seal it up.
Because what's worse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, little DMS or some sort of weird.
I wrap it up with saran wrap. I want to keep everything out of there once it's starting to cool. If you do a 90-minute boil, you should
be fine, right? So what happened? So is it maybe just because you used all Pils malt or something, or
better excuse, please?
Well, or how long did you have the lid sitting there while the beer was hot?
Between like flame out to cooling down.
Yeah.
Normally what I do...
but this time was like 20 minutes or something?
I mean, this time might have been different, but this was 3 months ago now. I don't have anything written on the sheet saying, I waited half an hour before turning the water on.
Detailed notes.
But so normally I go from turning the propane off and then walk over and turn on the garden hose to start the cooling.
I'll turn the garden hose on first and then walk over and turn the heat off. That's me, though.
Wow.
Well, I don't brew as good as you.
It's clearly.
Right. Yeah.
We need a challenge someday, the two of you guys.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We'll both lose.
Right. It'll be like that
the only time
Rauk beer.
They both get the grog tag.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Which I still say that I won. But, okay, so you left the lid on for a little bit too long, even though Brian disagrees.
I think just the continuing generation of the DMS, while it was still hot and not actively boiling to drive it off, it was just there.
Okay.
And then it's got a little bit of diacetyl, which I tried to get rid of, thought I did, but obviously I did not.
Okay, so you brought it in, and you got judged.
I did get judged
for it. And then what did you do? After you dried your tears in your beard, what did you do?
I think they gave it around 30 or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look. It's framed on my wall. So,
that's our standard in-studio guest score.
Right, that's the lowest. That's the lowest that
we don't
you guys
want to
ever
hurt
go.
him too bad. It's the courtesy 30.
It's the 10-point courtesy bump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this time around, I'm calling it a Dortmunder export. Figuring I'd try a new category.
That makes it better.
Right. And in between then and now, I've since just bubbled CO2 through it about 3 times because the CO2 will help volatilize some of the DMS off, in theory.
Okay, so you're saying it will, what? I mean, dumb it down. It'll, like, churn up the beer enough to release the air, the portion of that flavoring that is airborne or that can be released via CO2?
Right, exactly. I mean, you smell it because in a glass, like we smell it right now, because it's volatile and it's coming out.
Okay.
And so by just running CO2 through it, you're kind of speeding that up. I mean, there are trade-offs because you're losing head retention because you're causing it to foam in the keg and it's not going to be in your glass, so the head retention is going to go down.
And you might lose some other interesting volatiles.
Right,
too,
exactly.
Like the hop aromas you had in there.
You're losing everything, but the idea is that the DMS is worse.
But you're gaining a drinkable beer.
Right, exactly. Something that actually doesn't finish like a glass of buttery corn.
Right, which I love.
You're losing everything, but you're winning the battle.
Right, exactly. Losing everything to win something.
So how did you do this? I mean, did you pressurize the keg for 5 minutes and shake it and then release it, or what did you do?
So what I did was put. I have 2 regulators on my CO2 tank. One has a regulator with a gas quick connect and one with a liquid quick connect that I used for purging my kegs before racking and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, so you're going from, instead of the top down and...
Right, so instead of going through the normal gas in, I was pushing CO2 through the liquid out, so it was actually coming up through the bottom.
Oh.
And then I just had it... I had the regulator set to 0, and then I pulled the pressure release on the keg so it was completely open, and then just started turning the regulator on until it started bubbling through. And then just let that happen until enough foam happened to where there's foam coming out of the PRV, and then
which is the pressure
release.
Okay, yeah.
And then just let it set, and then after the foam died down again, did the same thing. I just did that a couple times, letting the foam settle and then going until it was foaming out the keg.
Okay, so like 5 minutes or something like that, probably. I guess it doesn't really matter, but
I didn't time it.
Yeah,
I mean, I would guess in a single round.
Yeah,
it probably went 2-3 minutes before it was foaming to the top. Just slow and gradual.
And could you smell it like when it's coming out of the relief valve? Could you smell the crap that was coming off of it? Yeah. You could smell some. I mean, it wasn't as aromatic as actually just pouring the beer normally and getting to smell the glass. But you could smell the aromas of the beer coming out. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Were you sniffing it and kind of using that as a way to judge when to stop, or did you just try it 3 times and got bored?
Each time I would just taste the beer in between, and you could taste it kind of reducing the DMS.
Okay. All right.
You could.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When you have so much, you'll notice a small change.
But great bounty of DMS to deal with.
Right, yeah.
Did you have a blind tasting panel to do that?
Well, I was there.
Right.
So
there may have been other people there. We don't know.
Yeah. And so I was doing actual triangle tests. So I would have 3 glasses, and 1 I would keep from the previous round, and then fill 2, and then kind of just shuffle them around on the chest freezer lid, and then see if I could pick it out. And I was able to, so it was seemingly make a difference. Or I was just wrong and thinking it did.
Maybe that could
be also
seems substantial,
right? Yeah. So I just did that a couple times, and I was able to actually taste the beer and the finish of the flavors, and so got to taste the beer at the end and some mineral and some pop. So
that was fun for you.
It was an improvement over what it was before.
Okay, is this like a commercial trick, or do you just make it up on your own, or how did you figure this out? How did a smart, handsome guy like you figure it out?
Well, reading. I mean, you can use kind of bubbling through to kind of scrub a few volatiles, like sulfur. Some sulfur compounds can be done that way. Sometimes sulfur compounds, you just add a little bit of copper. I know some breweries that actually just kind of tie a piece of copper pipe on a string and kind of dangle it down in the beer. And then that actually converts some of the sulfur compounds.
Really?
Drop a couple pennies in the bright tank.
Right. Oh, yeah, something like that. Okay. And so gassing off, you can reduce levels of DMS and other things, but usually I don't think a professional brewery would try to salvage a beer like that.
Oh, really?
Like mine.
Yeah, I think H2S is a lot more volatile than DMS.
Correct.
That stuff blows right off.
Yeah, and H2S is one of the ones that you can convert with copper, and so...
Is that something, just a side topic, is that something that commercial breweries do a lot of? Or like little minor corrections like that? Or is it every once in a while, but you just have to know how to take care of it when it happens, like a flat tire or something like that?
I don't think brewers try to have that be like a common practice.
Yeah.
Like, they're always
they
having
might not admit it if it were.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, is it,
I've heard of more than one brewer admit to it. So it does happen. Not necessarily dangling a piece of copper pipe, but either transferring through a tube that had some copper in it, or something like that.
Throw in a copper scrubby.
I mean, there's also copper solutions, liquid solutions that you can just dose the beer with too.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get your cupric sulfate.
Right. It's a little blue liquid.
All right.
Nice and hellish.
Well, fellas.
So did it work?
Did it work? I don't know. What do you think?
You think it worked?
I think it worked to a certain extent. I think that it worked on the DMS pretty well. The DMS is very low in the aroma and the flavor, and it's still there, but it's light. The diacetyl as a flavor compound has such a low aroma and flavor threshold. Like, just it's parts per million in there. You can get it at, I don't recall what the low end is, but it's 15 parts per million or some crazy low amount that most people who can taste diacetyl will get it. have to correct me on that on the next show, but yeah. What I think you also lost in the process, though, was some of that nice German malt flavor and a little bit of the spicy hop that was there a little more the last time. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot lower this time. There's like a kind of generic bready malt in here and a very low spicy hop. Otherwise, it's clean. It's still a little bit minerally. It's dry. It seems to have pretty low carbonation. I don't know if you readjusted your carb afterwards, but it should have. I don't know.
I didn't. I kind of just set it back at 12 psi.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
So
I might have lost some, and then
maybe in the transfer you lost some in this case in the growler or something. But yeah, it seems a little low.
In the growler. The growler had a pretty good hiss when it was open.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's missing some of the other positive qualities. It just seems like a generic. It seems more like a light American lager now. It went from Helles to Dort to light American lager kind of territory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got no head at all anymore.
Yeah. There's like not much to hide behind in a beer like this. So if this was an IPA, we wouldn't even be talking about this shit. We'd just be like, "Hey, this is a great IPA, dude."
Yeah, I thought about that. I was reading the BJCP styles, and I was like, yeah, now light American lager category might be where this belong. I mean, 'cause a little bit of DMS is okay. I mean, to me, the scrubbing got rid of most of the DMS, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But now it's just diacetals more apparent.
Here's
now.
what you got to do: like, boost up the bitterness one way or another, and dry hop the hell out of this thing. Bring it back next month as an IPL.
Yep.
You know, that might be the best salvage for this thing, actually, because I think the diacetyl is not volatile enough that you're probably going to be able to get rid of it that way.
Oh, I wasn't expecting to get rid of the diacetyl with the CO2 scrubbing.
That's the
It was just the
butterscotch, right?
DMS.
Yeah. And for the DMS, you know, I don't think you got rid of 100% of it, although you probably brought it down a good chunk.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to get that work better, maybe what you would need to do is drop a cindered stone in there to put the CO2 through, so you had more bubble surface area. That'll probably scrub it a little more effectively.
Yeah.
It's still got a fair amount of DMS, not like it did before.
Yeah.
But the diacetyl is real strong in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does taste like buttercorn. We're talking like it's kettle corn
it's like
beer.
Buttered caramel
this
corn.
Is pretty unique stuff. It's tasty. We're finishing the glass. I mean, it's not horrible.
Have a glass of Werther's original.
Right. Yeah.
Just like Grandpa used to drink.
Even though the defects are lower, the character of the beer is a little lower, and I actually dropped the score. If it was around 30 before, it's more like a 25 now. It's
setting records here.
It's okay. And we want you to win that grog tag. So.
Oh, right. How does it look, though? Because that was the only compliment you had for it last time.
It's beautiful.
All right.
It's clear,
it's still
pale.
beautiful.
Don't change a thing.
It's missing the head this time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So 2 points. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Lee, what do you think? I mean, pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a fair amount of diacetyl. The DMS is less. It's beautiful looking, clear, yellow beer, but there's no head. No head at all.
So do you think it was worth it?
Worth doing
scrubbing it out, losing all the positive volatiles.
And the head creating capability.
Yeah.
You lost your head, Warren?
Well, not the first time.
No.
For personal enjoyment, yes.
The experiment is worth it on its own merits?
Sure, just to see, I'd never done that before. It was just like, you read it in a book, it's like, okay, sure, in theory that should work, and so get to actually do it.
This is your first time?
Right.
Okay.
And see the results and how well it works. I think if DMS is a mild issue in your beer, if you're okay with losing a bit of the actual positive aromas, it might be worth giving a little shot just to try.
Especially if it's one that, if it was a standard American lager that can have, you can have a little bit of, in there. It's okay in certain styles to have a little bit in there. So,
sure.
Little corn-like flavors. Or what is it? Classic American Pills. You can have a little bit. Yeah.
So, I mean, after doing that for me, now it's something that I'll finish the keg, and I'm not going to dump it. It's just it's
dry
not perfect.
Try the IPL thing. Yeah.
I could try dry hopping,
or take half of it and sour it. Take the other half and distill it. You can do a lot of different things with this.
Yeah, they have hop extracts and stuff. I'm sure you could do something.
Oh
with
yeah,
these,
I plan on trying again at the end of this month. So.
Just rebrew it. You have time.
Right, yeah. What else do I have to do? So maybe in a couple months I'll have potentially a better tasting one that you guys can tear apart, and I'll have another diary entry to...
I can see the entry written on your face now.
Don't play the music again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Warren,
Thanks for bringing
Better
it back.
luck next time, I guess.
So what's going to happen? Like, let's say you do this again, and you have the same issue. Are you going to scrub it again? Are you going to dump it? Are you trying to find some sort of like a dead zone where it, at some point it just there's no positive returns to doing it?
If all of this happened again,
you're just wasting CO2 and contributing to global warming.
I would probably just go apply at McDonald's and just leave everything behind.
I don't think they would hire. I think they're too good for you.
They might be like, "Oh, you're that popcorn beer guy, right?"
And you're like, yes.
You're gonna make our fries taste like
make popcorn beer 3 or 4 times, and now you're the popcorn beer guy.
Well,
maybe you could work in a movie theater.
I was just going to say I'll change careers again and go work at a movie theater.
Yeah, they might let you keep the beard there. McDonald's wouldn't. I think.
All those draft houses that are serving buttered popcorn and beer, it's perfect. They'll never know.
Yeah, right. Everyone's beer will taste like this.
Yeah, buy 2 bags of popcorn and get this beer for free, and then that way you know that you're not going to...
Well, then they'll actually get to taste the beer because they'll already be used to the buttered popcorn flavor.
Yeah, they won't notice.
Right,
it'd be great.
Palate deadening and works in my favor.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's it. Serve your beer with popcorn every night.
Yep.
You can drink a keg that way.
Yeah.
Well, Warren, thanks for letting us beat you up, dude.
You're welcome anytime.
Thanks.
There's some white men in the back room. You can clean up after.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to have Scotty on with his robust porter after this. We're going to, hit the jump and then do another beer, and then we're out of here. It's Dr. Homebrew, everyone. Stay tuned.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
As a brewer, you already don't settle for second best. You want great tasting beer and you want great equipment to make it with. So don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me, it's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Don't settle for second best. Get a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes
beers with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com. A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com. Have you ever dreamed of attending the World Brewing Academy? This year, thanks to Lalamond and Danstar, one lucky brewer will make that dream a reality for free. Lalamond and Danstar invite you to enter the Beer School 2015 contest. One lucky grand prize winner will receive fully paid tuition to the 2015 World Brewing Academy web-based concise course in brewing technology worth almost $4,000. From now until December 13th, 2014, every Danstar yeast packet you use is your ticket to enter. Visit danstaryeast.com for the details and to print your official entry form. There's no limit on the number of times you can enter, so get brewing with Danstar and get your entries in to the Danstar 2015 Beer School Contest. Whether you want to build your home brewing skills or build a career as a professional brewer, this course will change the way you think of beer and brewing. Enter at danstaryeast.com and get the dry yeast advantage with Danstar and Lalamond Premium Brewing Yeast and enter to win.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for sticking with us.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have Scotty in the studio. Or is it Scott? What is it? Scott? What? Here, get on the microphone or else no one can hear you.
It's
just Scott?
It's Scotty.
Why can't it? It is Scotty.
It is Scotty.
Okay.
Scotty.
I was going to say, why can't it be Scotty?
Oh, it is.
But apparently it can.
No reason.
You're telling me that it can.
I'm telling you it is.
So this is what your third time on the show, right?
No, second time.
Second time?
It would have been my third if you gave me the right date last time. But yeah.
You know, why do you have to bring up... Well, see, you already get negative points.
Dates are kind of a nebulous thing with us.
You get negative 100 points
like
already.
Time doesn't really exist.
My beer isn't tasting so bad now, is it, guys?
No, it's not. Well, it's still actually pretty terrible. I had to scrape my tongue at the break.
We're stuck somewhere in the past in a parallel universe floating,
Yeah.
I don't know.
With the scrapings of JP's tongue. It's really not a pleasant picture.
No. Apparently, I have a habit of standing in front of the host camera and rubbing my gut during the break. Like I'm an old man with goiter or something. Just like I just got to rub the spot, and apparently it's pretty disgusting. Thanks for showing me, Bev. I appreciate it.
Too bad she told you to keep doing it. Now you might not.
That was awesome. Oh, he'll do it again.
I'm sure I will. I'll forget because she'll just set me up. It's an ambush journalism that
Creature
Beverly
of
likes
habit.
to do.
You're getting some pattern baldness there?
Maybe.
You'll
This is
survive.
From the
I will
continuous
survive.
rubbing.
I might not survive.
Helping digest his food from earlier.
Right.
Yeah. Is your liver kicking?
Yeah.
Anyway, Scotty, what beer do you have for us today?
It's a robust porter.
It's a robust porter. Something you brewed before or a brand new recipe?
This is the third time I've brewed it.
Okay.
Is it the first time we've judged it?
Is it?
It is the first time we've judged it.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember what you had.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
We got a gusher,
Got some
folks.
towels?
That didn't happen with the first one, did it?
Nope.
You told me to warm it up, though.
Yep.
The first
This
one.
is just about right for a pour.
So I shook it up.
Okay, it's getting dangerously close.
Yeah, somebody
to
got
the
some towels.
Yeah,
or
electrical
towels
equipment
or-
here.
Sacrificial.
Got a squeegee.
It's fine.
Sacrificial Drake's coasters. All right.
Thanks to Drink for building the dam of the studio. Well, that's all right. I'm sure I'm sure everything's fine. So, what are you looking to get out of this, Scotty? You looking to get some recipe tweaks or just a general score? You like where it is?
Well,
how do you feel?
What I want out of this is, since I'm going to be taking the tasting exam on the 24th, is I want as much exposure to the judging process as possible.
Oh, okay. So you don't really give a shit what they say. You just want to know how they say it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. Well, Brian, since Lee is still dusting himself off with beer, why don't you start, man?
All right, yeah. So we got a little gusher here. That's something that we would note under the bottle inspection. I guess you'd probably note it there. It gushed. Yeah, the first bottle actually we opened up was creeping up inside the bottle as well. You don't really want to use that as anything to bias yourself against the beer and assume that it has any problems, but you do keep it in mind and use that information for what you will.
To help pick out flaws or contaminants
what
or
may
whatever.
be going on with the beer. So yeah,
could it be gushing and not have anything wrong with it? I mean, it could just be.
Sometimes you get a gusher and the beer is actually really good, and I mean it's a lot of times it's a more highly carbonated beer, to start with, where it can stand to have a little bit more peppiness to it, but a saison or something, or but
or it means you pissed off the steward at the competition. You shake up your bottles before he brings them out to the table.
It could be a steward error. It could be a few different things. So you can't assume anything, but you do want to keep it in mind. And if you find other elements of issues or things that pop out at you that combine to make sense. But again, nothing ever makes sense.
My favorite steward is Patrick Stewart. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
The nose has a pleasant, rich
Scotty gets plus 200 points.
Pleasant, rich chocolate.
Letting you work in a Star Trek
Isn't that Twilight Girl a steward?
Shut the.
Doesn't Bevo know?
She's a steward.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we please talk about the beer?
I'm waiting for. This is the 11th time Warren has overcomplicated something. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
No, I think it's the 12th.
Lee, come on.
Go ahead, Brian.
The nose is pretty pleasant, actually. It has a rich chocolatey malt up front. I got a pretty strong vanilla note in this. I don't know if it was the glassware or there was some comment about the soap maybe having a little vanilla note, but I didn't get it in the other beers, or it would have really stood out in the Dort. So no, behind that a bit of coffee as well. Hops very background, low spiciness. It has actually pretty moderate esters with a kind of a perfumey character to it, and it smells just a bit burnt. Like the roast is a little intense, and a robust porter should have an edge of some roastiness, but not too intense. So you want to watch out for that. Color-wise, it's a nice deep brown with a low light tan head that was actually roused pretty easily when you swirl the glass. It stuck around fairly well, and the beer seems pretty clear, though it was kind of hard to see because it's fairly dark even for a porter, and that's fine. It's right in the color range it needs to be. So appearance-wise, I gave it 3 points. I thought it worked.
Yeah.
Malt in the flavor is roasty, and it does have a lightly burnt note to it. I thought. Comes across with a little fruity edge too, kind of almost like a tropical stout kind of a flavor to it, like an import, foreign extra, like a stout like element, and it's so intense. And there's some bittersweet chocolate in there, a light burnt coffee, low bitterness, finish pretty dry to me. We might get some debate about this, but I'm not getting a lot of sweetness in the beer. It seems to. There's nothing playing off the roasty and dark flavors in there. It seems to be pretty dry. I also got a kind of a low medicinal phenolic in the aftertaste, the after belch maybe. There was a little, and then there's a little bit of medicine in there.
I think it was a Band-Aid you swallowed.
Medicine burp, and I'm not taking any medicines, I promise. The beer is definitely balanced in the malt, so and yeah. So that phenolic could be another piece of the puzzle that goes along with some things that might be going on with this beer. So maybe
the gusher,
the gusherness of it, yeah.
Okay.
body wise, the medium light body. It does have a little bit of warmth in there. It's got a little bit of higher, maybe not extreme higher alcohols, but it's got like you feel it in the back of the throat. It's pretty alcoholic for a porter. It wasn't very creamy. Carbonation seemed high. And it does have every time I say creamy, do you have to giggle, JP?
I was actually laughing at Beverly, Dad, but that's all right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Son, you need to
control yourself.
Grow up.
What's the alcohol on this guy?
6.4.
6.4.
Okay. It's a hefty porter.
I think some of this is the glass, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the glass shape, these glasses I'm not a giant fan of, because I think maybe that accentuates a little bit more of the alcohol than would you normally get out of a pint glass.
It might, yeah. It's kind of holding it in a little bit, and you get it in your
these little brandy snifter things.
Yeah. I found a little bit of astringency in there, and I kind of, despite being kind of big and alcoholic, it felt it had the impression of being a little thin too at the same time. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy there.
Okay.
Overall impression: a fairly tasty, robust porter. It has a lot of good flavors going on. It seems like the recipe is good.
Yeah.
The ingredients used were good.
It's pretty deep. There's a lot of stuff going on.
It would benefit from a little more sweetness to play off the malt flavors that are in there. If some of the classic advice would be to use a higher mash temperature, or to keep the right enzymes working on it in there. The beta amylases get more active as you have a lower mash temp. The alphas are more active at a higher mash temp, like upper 150s Fahrenheit. And that's going to leave a little more dextrinous, unfermentable stuff in there. But I don't know if that's it for sure. I'm thinking that you possibly want to keep whatever yeast is in this from drying out the beer in general. And it could have a little bit of maybe a wild yeast getting in there too, especially with being a gusher. Maybe some form of wild yeast that's kind of slow acting is still going inside the bottle here. And giving you that little medicinal aftertaste. I don't know if it was bottled from a keg. I don't know, how it was, but it could be some activeness of the wild yeast that's doing something in there. So with that, you just want to wash sanitation, change out any plastic equipment that may be older, and make sure that the things you're working with the beer with after it cools are clean and able to be sanitized. Because you can't sanitize if you don't have it.
That's correct.
Clean, as the 5-star folks always say. So, yeah. I gave the beer overall a 30, though. It's actually, and that's not just a courtesy 30 because we're here in the studio together getting cozy.
You ruined your trick. I told everybody about it.
Darn it. Yeah, no, it's not horrible beer by any stretch of the imagination. It's pretty tasty, robust porter. Just has a couple of light issues going on there that are detracting a bit. So, brew it again and change out some equipment and see if that just goes away.
Lee.
All right. I agree with a fair amount of what Brian said there. Some base malt and coffee aroma notes in the nose. I noticed a little bit of something I get out of beers that are very carbonated when we first judge this. So the first bottle didn't gush like this one did. There's almost a little bit of a tingling. Usually it comes along with beers that are highly carbonated. It's like generating a little carbonic acid in my nose or something. I picked up a bit of that, but it smelled okay for the most part. Although later when I went back to it after me and Brian talked, I did notice maybe a little bit of a touch of a phenolic character to it that I didn't pick up originally. It is a pretty beer. It's a nice, clear, dark brown color. Pours a nice head. It lasts a reasonable amount of time. So I gave it a 3 for appearance as well. It looks really good. Totally on style there. Flavor, got a lot of chocolate, brown coffee, malt flavors. I thought it was actually fairly sweet. I mean, it's fairly alcoholic and once you start drinking it, it's definitely, you can tell that it's fairly carbonated. So, for me, I was kind of surprised how much sweetness is left behind, more on my lips than anywhere else. It's like kind of a little bit of stickiness gets left behind.
Like a kiss from a lover.
Something like that.
Whatever.
Which part?
From a sweet, sticky one that had been drinking grape soda or something, yes.
Or the robust porter.
Or the mouth coating.
Right.
Or
that's Warren.
Yeah.
I thought that was Brian. I was so out of character.
Grow up, Brian.
Yes, right. A little bit of a rough alcohol flavor in this, which I thought was a little bit out of place. I mean, they can be a little bit alcoholic, these beers. Not much, but 6.4 is not totally out of the realm here.
Yeah.
But seem to have a little bit of a rough edge to it. Not really solventy, just sort of rough. Low bittering, but balanced pretty well for a porter. Finishes with cocoa and figs and some of that alcohol. And I thought maybe a little bit of a warty flavor, although it might just have been that sweetness that was getting me. Medium body, fairly tingling carbonation, definitely more carbonated than the style needs to be or should be. A little rough in the alcohol again in the mouthfeel. It wasn't really burning, but it didn't seem quite right there. And I didn't really get any astringency. Some drying character from the alcohol and the roast malt and all the CO2, but I wasn't getting anything that left that sort of tea-like astringency behind. Overall, I thought it was a decent beer. Good dark malt flavors, well-balanced, robust porter. The alcohol roughness was a little out of style, which suggests maybe the ferment might have got a bit too warm or the yeast was otherwise stressed, is the usual explanation for that. But in combination with a couple things like the high carbonation, especially that we saw here, and possibly, when I didn't pick up on it first, but when Brian knows they went back, maybe I picked up a little bit of the phenolics. It seems
really
like it
faint, yeah.
It seems like it definitely with the gusher here, it hasn't finished quite fermenting for whatever reason here. So it's still turning sugar into alcohol in this beer inside the bottle. So whether it maybe just didn't finish its ferment out in the first place, which is the main thing I'd guess, and it was still slowly churning away sugar and alcohol, and that was causing it to be carbonated. That was kind of my first guess. But if it did catch a bug of some sort, that will do it too, definitely. And if it was both, then both. We'll
Does
do
anybody
the same
have
thing.
a finishing hydrometer?
Did you take a gravity on this when you bottled it?
Yeah, you're Lee, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you picked up on something. The final gravity was much higher than expected. It was 1034.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the starting? Oh, wait.
I guess I wish I could remember. If it's 6.4, whatever that is.
6.4.
It is pretty high.
That'd be pretty high.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
like a
high.
1070 starting or something, 1075.
The thing is, I'm glad you guys picked something out. I never let this stuff warm up. I just drink it cold, and letting it warm up, like I drank it just now, I picked something up that I wouldn't have picked up otherwise. Perhaps when I bottled it, or maybe even when I fermented it, maybe it picked up a wild yeast somewhere.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. Are you getting that phenolic?
Not when it's warm, yeah. I wouldn't have picked that up otherwise.
Right.
You're just slamming them.
You can pick up, So you can pick up on flavors and aromas a lot better when the beer is warm. That kind of goes double for stouts and porters. They're probably better served a little on the warm side. I mean, if you live in real warm country, that may not feel like the right thing to do if it's 100 degrees out. But,
it doesn't feel right.
But you'll get more of the flavors out of the beer when you let them warm up a bit. I mean, stouts and porters, usually you want to serve those 50-ish Fahrenheit, plus or minus, depending who you talk to and what your preferences are. But you'll pick up subtleties of flavor and aroma much better there than you will if the beer is, 38 or something out of your fridge. You'll just miss a lot of things. That's why beers with lots of flavor best served a little bit warmer, as opposed to beers that you want to serve real cold because they don't taste like much.
Another possibility is I may have used a little too much priming sugar too, because I noticed when I first bottled it, it is bottle conditioned, that I did like a carbonation test. I want to make sure I don't have bottle bombs, and it carbonated a little too quickly, like within 3 days. It usually takes at least a week. So it may be a little too much priming sugar, but I think there's something else that might be going on too. As far as the fermentation temperature goes, it's an English ale yeast from White Labs. I did it around 66, no more than that. But I did take it out of temperature control after I thought the active fermentation was done and put it at room temperature for a little while. Maybe it really wasn't done. Maybe it
was it still bubbling away at that point?
It wasn't bubbling away.
Do you know how many days about that was after
2 weeks?
2 weeks after you took it off temperature
I
control?
I figured it was done, but I don't think it was like truly done.
If you're going to commit a full batch into bottles, I mean, in a keg, there's things you can do. It's hard if it's overcarbonated, but in a bottle, it's really hard to fix it if it's overcarbonated. And you want to check your gravity and then just wait 2 to 3 days and check it again just to make sure that it's not slowly dropping.
Yeah, especially with some of those English yeasts like to drop out, flocculate out before they've quite finished. Although there's no diacetyl in this beer.
No,
I waited. I waited 4 months before I actually bottled it.
It's actually missing.
So this beer's 4 months old now.
No, it's more than 4 months old. But before I bottled it, I waited 4 months.
Okay, well, I guess it reabsorbed that.
This beer is probably like I don't know, 6 months old.
Okay.
Those chocolate notes are great.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's got nice chocolate and
I would say
light coffee.
There's nothing wrong with the recipe here.
Yeah.
That's actually quite nice.
I really like the recipe. It was given to me by the founder of my local homebrew club, Tom Pope, founder of the Warthogs. Only thing I changed in his recipe, I used Black Prince instead of Black Patent. It's a recipe that he won awards with.
I hate Black Patent.
Yeah, I use Black Prince.
That's a nice substitution, actually. Works well with the porter.
Yeah.
Little less in your face with the roast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say the problem here has something to do with fermentation, whether or not it finished and whether or not there's a bug in there. And if there's a bug, it's pretty low level. After 6 months, would you think if this had an infection, Brian, it would be this hard to? It'd be this subtle?
No, I don't think so.
Maybe 5 months.
That'd be kind of pushing it.
Well, was it refrigerated the whole time?
No, it wasn't.
No, in the bottle?
It was in the bottle. Well, not the whole time. Since the middle of December, it was refrigerated.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of the time, it was not refrigerated at all.
Yeah, the sort of rough edge in the alcohol and the kind of estery character of this might suggest the original ferment was a little incomplete too, or the yeast were not happy for some reason.
Which sounds like it was. Right?
Oh, about the high final gravity. During brewing, when I was mashing and stuff, my thermometer that I use and trust stopped working. So I used a second-hand thermometer that I didn't really trust, and I don't know if it was reading high or low or what, but I have a feeling it was actually mashing higher than I thought it was, because the final gravity was 1034, which is I expected 1020 something. Like low 1020s.
Yeah, don't listen to my advice on that then. I think the carbonation sometimes that can trick you a little bit. The prickliness of that can give a slight impression of some dryness to me sometimes. It's like messes with your head a little bit.
Oh, well, it will totally do that. Yeah.
The overcarbonation does hide the wordy kind of high finishing gravity in this pretty well.
Yeah. Well, Scotty, do you have any questions on the judging process for these young men here?
I do. I've looked at score sheets before. How much what's the maximum you can get on the aroma? 3?
3. Oh, sorry. Aroma goes up to 12.
Which is the one you gave me a 3 on?
Appearance.
Appearance.
And that's the one. That's as high as it goes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. No, pretty big.
I knew you gave me a maximum on something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited. A week from Saturday, I'm going to take the tasting exam.
Yeah, that's really cool. Congrats on you passed obviously the
I passed the online
exam and so you have the knowledge for that. And
excellent.
Yeah, another judge to join the ranks.
Yeah.
As soon as you sign your name to the paper, you'll be at least an apprentice. So hey,
that's right.
It's like the SATs. You get a certain amount. Brian, you have a thing coming up, right? Tasting.
Yeah, actually, for those who are interested in judging education, as a part of SF Beer Week, fellow BJCP judge David Teckham, who is Grandmaster 4 level,
love that guy.
Teaches a class called Beer Judging 101. So it's on February 15th this year. We're doing it at the Pyramid Ale House in Berkeley. And there's 2 sections. Both are identical. But for those who want to get a little primer of what judging is about, if you have a little bit of tasting experience and you're like, what is this judging thing all about? Or if you listen to Dr. Homebrew, you can come out and we'll go through several beers with you. Yeah, we do. If you listen. You might not be listening. You might just be tune out the rest of what we said before.
And absorbing
finally
it through cosmic osmosis.
But yeah, just go to sfbeerweek.org or search for Beer Judging 101. 2015, because we do it every year and it usually sells out. So we'd love to see some people, especially listeners, join us for that. It'd be fun. Come up and say hi if you do.
It's a good intro class, and they will have some tasty beers there too.
Do you want my appearance fee or no? I mean, you guys, I don't know how you can afford it or what. But.
Oh man,
I've got another keg of this American Light Lager. If you guys want to try that,
we can use that.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's get some Dr. Homebrew beers in there.
Right. Yeah, you want to brew like this, guys? That's what you're going to say, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Scotty, do you have anything else?
Yeah, Lee, what did you score me? Just curious.
28.
Okay.
Scotty's going to cut you.
I know.
As soon as we leave.
I'm not leaving this room until I have to.
The highest score I've ever gotten on any beer was 40. So.
That's a good score.
Yeah.
That was a very good score.
Hard to do one that good.
Yeah. My friend that's out there got a 41 on the same competition. He just one-upped me.
Well, you've got your goal now.
But when you took his right eye, how did he feel?
He knew what he did.
Yeah. Well, if you want some good recipes to brew with, check out the American Homebrewers Association. You can get a membership there. I think they're like $35. They're pretty cheap. They fight for your rights to continue to homebrew. Not only do they do that, they do all the hard work and the mucky muck going to Washington. But you get access to Zymergy magazine. Warren, shut up. You get all sorts of stuff, recipes. You learn how to brew. They can start you off from beginner to advanced. They got you covered. Warren?
Oh, well, I was just going to help you promote the AHA say they have a lot of rallies coming up.
They do have a lot of rallies.
I think 3 that Bay Area folks can get to in a pretty reasonable drive coming up in the next few months.
There you go. And those are membership drives, essentially.
Well, it's members-only parties at breweries, basically, where you get to drink beer. Sometimes you get like VIP tours. I know they do work giveaways at some, not all. But it says on their website, there's a AHA rally link on there, and so you can see where the dates and locations are. I know Wicked Weed is having one in whatever Carolina they're in, and there's one in San Francisco, I think, beginning of February. At Magnolia.
And the Smokestack, their new place.
The Smokestack,
and in Sacramento, too, coming up, I think.
Cool. Go to homebrewersassociation.org. Join the AHA. They really make it a lot easier and more fun to brew. Scotty, thanks, man.
No,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Was it everything you remembered from last time?
Well, you know what? Even if I had like the worst beer I've ever made, I still would have brought it to you if that's all I had. Because I just love being here.
Cool, man.
You guys are awesome.
Well, you're welcome back anytime.
You learned something. You learned how differently the beer tastes when it's this, when it's warmed up.
And we learned how fast Warren can react to getting a towel. Yeah. That's pretty good.
And I want to say, too, Lee's one of those judges. He really is a stickler for that. And I've organized a few competitions in my day, but he'll be out there. And if the beers aren't the right temperature, he'll definitely let the stewards know.
For sure.
And, be a headache.
They all hate me.
He's a hard ass.
Yeah, to everyone involved in the competition. But no, it does make sense. You can't taste the beer properly if it's too cold.
So then that means the winner of the grog tag, at least your beer, your beard will look good, is Warren. You get the Grog Tag $40 gift certificate to grogtag.com. And then the winner of the highgravitybrew.com, it's high gravity homebrewing supplies, gift pack, Scotty.
So what did I miss? I missed something here. So Warren did something, right?
I did worse than you.
Yeah, Warren did worse than you.
No way.
Warren's beer?
My hero did worse than you?
Yeah.
You beat him by a point.
He's my beard hero.
There you go.
That's, following his beard
That's
steps.
important.
He washes his eyes with PBW to try to get the degraded vision like you. And the whole thing, man.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Yeah. So thank you to Grog Tag, and thank you to High Gravity Homebrewing and Winemaking Supplies. Check them out, grogtag.com and highgravitybrew.com, and you guys should be getting your stuff in the mail along with the party pack from 5 Star.
Yeah.
Party pack. I think that's it, right?
So now it's a party?
So it might be a party now. We never know.
Play us a song or something, JB.
Is that it? I think that's it. I got all my things and did all my things.
Did you go through the checklist twice?
We're ready to go.
All right.
Thanks, everyone. It's Dr. Homebrew. For those of you listening live, we'll be back in about 15 minutes with a pretty cool thing. We got a triangle test happening with a special guest and some more beer and maybe some more belly rubbing by me. You never really know. It's Dr. Homebrew, everyone. See you next time.